It's been a while since I made one of these videos, so I hope y'all enjoy. Arcane Odyssey just dropped as of yesterday at 4 p.m. and I already made it to level 50.
Yo! Oh my fucking god!
And today, I'm going to be talking about the experience so far. So for those of you who don't know, Arcane Odyssey is the second game to come after the original Arcane Adventures made by Vetex. The original game Arcane Adventures never really was completed because the game broke due to technical issues with Roblox's updating system. After a couple years, we got World of Magic, a sort of alpha version to Vetex's upcoming game Arcane Odyssey, which is what is out now. If you played World of Magic before Arcane Odyssey, some of your items would have been transferred from World of Magic to Arcane Odyssey. I am personally one of these people. Inventory has been left mostly unchanged to find a few items. World of Magic isn't completely for nothing! I hope you enjoy your new experience! Ah! Now, with my literal years of experience in place and my max level accounts from each of the games, including the ones made by different people, looking upon me, I set off to play Arcane Odyssey on the day of release. Let's start with the tutorial and the story. As for the tutorial of this game, it isn't really there. This is definitely one of those games where you have to discover and explore different things. In the beginning of the game, you wake up on a small island with your starting magic, which is so original at this point. Apparently in this game, you're some kind of person who escapes from the government, washed up on an island, and you have no memory of your past. In comparison to the two Arcane adventure games, this is obviously a bit different and more centered around your character rather than the world around you. You get a short boating tutorial and the combat tutorial on the second island you visit, and honestly that's it. Throughout the game you'll get pop-up hints that appear at the absolute most inconvenient times trying to give you further information on the game. But there's literally so much information completely left out from the tutorial. For example, quests having secret rewards, giant sharks and monsters appearing out of the ocean.
What the fuck?
Basic information about the leveling system. It's a lot to figure out, and my best advice to a new player is to look up YouTube videos made by beta testers for the game. Advice I'll give some more advice later in the video. Now let's talk about combat. In Arcane Odyssey, you have 3 different types of combat. You have magic, weapons, and melee, each with their own special perks and abilities, each that you can level up individually in the stats menu, including one more stat, vitality, which adds to your overall health but takes away from your damage. Weapons. Weapons has been my personal favorite so far. It's easy to use and puts down enemies fairly quickly. You can hold up to 3 weapons at a time that include shields, guns, and bows. Weapons has a lot of cool special moves as you go further into leveling up the skill. They're fairly simple to use. The only downside is that they're incredibly close quarters. Magic. Magic has been iffy so far, but trust me, it looks amazing, and obviously you should spec more into the skill if you feel like you want to do some more awesome stuff. But early game, I found it to be difficult to use. It requires a decent amount of accuracy and movement to be used correctly. The damage output is decent, but I've never found it more useful than going close with a weapon. I'd say if magic fits your playstyle, then definitely spec into it. Melee. Melee is definitely one of those all-around good stats to put points into, as it ups your other abilities. I've come across a decent amount of melee enemies, and holy crap, it's amazing, but early game, it's one of those harder things to get into because you how high level you must be to use its abilities. Melee is kind of one of those get in and get out play styles, and I would personally love to get into it in the future. Melee has many different fighting styles that come with it, and has its own unique abilities that you can learn from NPCs. Moving into the stat system itself, it's weird as hell. Beta testers of the game suggest only putting points into 2 or more skills just because it's a little more difficult to do all of them. Speccing into a certain skill will give you a specific title. Despite beta testers' suggestion, I'm personally going for a more balanced skill set just because I would like to experience everything that I can. And that moves us into gameplay. Admittedly, gameplay is fucking weird. It's like if the World of Magic and Arcane Adventures had a baby and threw in a couple features from games like Elden Ring and Assassin's Creed Black Flag. Quest. I suggest doing every quest at least once. A lot of quests do have benefits that aren't listed in the quest description. At one point I was doing a random fishing quest and I finished, and the guy who I was doing the quest for became my quartermaster, and he ended up having 200 defense and he started being on my ship. Quests go from very simple, tedious tasks to fighting large amounts of enemies and taking down ships, cooking and defeating bosses. You can only have 6 quests active at a time, so don't just go around accepting them willy-nilly. The map. The map is kind of crazy this time around. There is literally so much to discover and the full game isn't even done. You have sky islands, big islands, small islands, shipwrecks, and all. There is so much to discover, and I haven't even seen it all. And each island has their own unique features with chests, loots, and secrets to be found. NPCs. NPCs are actually ridiculously smart in this game. They don't just do 3 moves like they did in Arcane and just stand there. They will jump your ass. NPCs are a lot more live than they were in other games. They move around, complete tasks, interact with other NPCs in the world around them. They all have unique characteristics and their own storyline. The enemies in this game have great movement and awesome attacks. Some NPCs, on the other hand, will cheese the game more than players and space the goddamn attack where you can't hit them. But overall, they are really good this time. I've had so much fun meeting cool new characters with their own unique abilities and attributes, and I honestly can't wait to see more. Fishing. It's been the same as it's always been. You can get the best items for the game from it, and the ocean is huge, so there are a lot of fish. Even though the task itself of fishing is pretty boring, you can catch absolutely insane things sometimes. Cooking. Cooking is Arcane Odyssey's newest feature. You do get hungry in this game, and you can use certain foods to restore your hunger. Depending on the quality of the food, you'll be able to get special perks for battle, and I can totally see this being a meta. I used a high quality food for my latest boss fight, and it honestly helps so much. Boats. Boats have been one of my favorite features so far. It's constantly so much going on in the ocean, and it makes a simple travel to another island an exciting adventure. You get to pimp out your boat, and you even get to have your own crew on the ship to participate in battle. Early game, you don't fight any enemies, and they will rock your shit. But honestly, they put so much effort into this part of the game, it's genuinely so exciting. There are even boats that you can sail in the sky, which is such an amazing feature, especially from what we saw in the last game with Sky Islands. Last thing I want to talk about is plot and story. I won't leave any spoilers in here because at the time of recording, I'm at level 73. But this plot is a little confusing so far. It tends to cut off and continue at random points. And the basic plot is that there's this secret cult attempting to attain secret magics that are incredibly hard to get and make a user immortal, and you have to stop them. And honestly, that's it so far. It's pretty simple and it's really dynamic, and there is so much in store. Incredible boss fights, amazing visuals, you just kind of have to do it. And depending on what path you choose, I'm sure it'll be different for each player. And that's it so far. The game just recently released, so I'm sorry if I didn't cover everything. But so far, I really do enjoy how Arcane Odyssey is coming along. Even though it isn't a fully finished game, it shows incredible potential. The visuals, the cutscenes, the gameplay, everything so far is just so outstanding. This game is genuinely so fun, and the community so far has been really great. And I can't wait to see what Vetex will do next for his next game. If you would like to see more updates about the game, please check out Vetex's Discord channel, and I'll have more Arcane Odyssey content on the way in the future. So as always, please stay tuned.